Hi math students, it's Mrs. Marcellus in Gottlieb. Today we're going to learn how to evaluate numerical expressions. Today's learning objective. Students will find the value of numerical expressions by applying the order of operations. Today's vocabulary. Numerical expression. A numerical expression is a combination of numbers and operations. And operations would be things such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, raising a number to a power, and square root. To find the value of a numerical expression, we have to apply the order of operations. This ensures everyone arrives at the same answer. In other words, we can't just all do the problems in any order that we choose. There are specific rules. The first thing we're going to look for is parentheses and other grouping symbols. Other grouping symbols would be things like parentheses within parentheses, brackets, and absolute value symbols. Next, we are going to find the value of all exponents. Next, we look for multiplication and division, and we do it in order from left to right, the way it occurs in the problem. This means that sometimes division will come before multiplication. They are equal and inverse operations, so it is not true that you do all multiplication first and then all division. However, you do need to complete all multiplication and division before you can go on to the final step. And this is to complete all addition and subtraction in order from left to right. Again, subtraction and addition are equal and inverse operations. Sometimes subtraction is going to come before addition. It is not true that you do all addition and then all subtraction. Sometimes the order of operation is referred to as Pemdas because of the P for parentheses, E for exponent, MD for multiplication and division, and AS for addition and subtraction, or you might have heard the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Are you ready to try some, Gottlieb? All right then, let's begin. When evaluating or finding the value of an expression, order of operations always applies. It's a good idea to take one step at a time to ensure you arrive at the correct answer. First, we'll look at the problem and determine, are there any parentheses? No, so we can go to the next step. Exponents? There are none. Multiplication or division? Neither exist in the problem. That brings us to the final step, where we'll complete all addition and subtraction from left to right in the order that they occur. We will first solve the subtraction. Addition does not supersede subtraction. 15 minus 3 equals 12, so I'm going to replace the underlined part of the problem with 12. Then I will bring down the plus 8. It is important to never change the order of the numbers in the problem. You simply identify what you're working on and replace it with the calculated value. Next we have 12 plus 8, and that will give us an answer of 20. If you had done the addition first, you would have had 15 minus 11, which equals 4. And that is an incorrect answer. It's always a good idea to check through all 4 steps. Parentheses? We don't have any. Exponents? There are none. Multiplication or division? In this case, we have multiplication, so we need to complete that first before we can move on to doing any addition or subtraction. The first thing we're going to do in this problem is 6 times 7. I'm going to bring the 10 plus straight down because we're not working with that part of the problem right now. 6 times 7 equals 42. Since there's no more multiplication or division, we next look for addition or subtraction. We have addition, 10 plus 42. 10 plus 42 equals 52. Our final answer is 52. In finding the value of this expression, we will first check for parentheses. Since there are none, we'll move on to the exponent. That is where we'll begin. Before we can do anything else, we first need to evaluate the exponent. Therefore, I'm going to bring down the 5 times, because we're not currently working with it. 4 to the second power is 16. If you remember, that equals 4 times 4. I'm going to replace 4 squared with 16, and then write the rest of the problem. That eliminates all the exponents, so next we move on to multiplication and division. We do have some multiplication in the problem, so I will do that next. 5 times 16 is 80. I will replace the 5 times 16 with 80, and then bring down the plus 6. 80 plus 6 gives us our final answer of 86. In this problem, we can see that we have no parentheses and no exponents. Therefore, we're going to move on to multiplication and division. The first thing that I come across is the division problem, 27 divided by 9. 27 divided by 9 equals 3. I always like to write out the remainder of the problem, so that way I will definitely arrive at the correct answer by taking one step at a time. We are still looking for multiplication or division, and we do have some multiplication left, so we have to do that before we either add or subtract. That means the next step is to multiply 6 times 5. That leaves me with 3 plus 30 minus 12. That takes care of all of the multiplication and division, so now I can move on to addition and subtraction. The first thing I come to is the addition of 3 plus 30. That is 33, and I need to subtract 12. My final step is 33 minus 12, which equals 21. The final answer to the problem is 21. This problem has parentheses, so that is where we need to start. I'm going to rewrite the rest of the problem and work on the parentheses first. When you're working in parentheses, it's like a mini problem in which the order of operations inside those parentheses applies. 3 squared equals 9. That leaves me with 9 minus 6 inside the parentheses. Next, I will tackle the inside of the parentheses. It is not until I eliminate them that I am able to proceed with the rest of the problem. 9 minus 6 equals 3, so I will replace that part of the problem with the number 3. Next, I'm looking for multiplication or division. The first thing I come across is division, so I replace 20 divided by 4 with the number 5. That leaves me with 5 plus 17 times 3. I will have to multiply 17 times 3 next. That leaves me with 5 plus 51. I can add and get my final answer of 56. Following the order of operations is critical in our world. Could you imagine a bunch of engineers designing something and each one of them doing the problems in their own way without any rules to follow? Or some architects designing a structure and each doing the calculations in a different way? What a mess we would have! Goats have 24 molars and 8 incisors. These, of course, are teeth. Write an expression for the total number of teeth for 6 goats. Then find the total number of teeth. There are a couple different ways to write this expression. One is to multiply the number of goats times each type of teeth. This would mean we have 6 times 24 plus 6 times 8. If we solve that, we would do the multiplication first. 6 times 24 is 144 plus 6 times 8. The next step would be to do 6 times 8, which is 48. That would leave us with 144 plus 48 for a total of 192 teeth. This works perfectly well. However, we can write the expression a second way. We know that we have 6 goats and they have 24 molars and 8 incisors. We could add up the teeth first And we could use some parentheses to do this. And that would leave us with 6 times 32 if we add up what is inside the parentheses. And 6 times 32 also equals 192. Either way you look at it, you can calculate that 6 goats would have 192 teeth. Wow, Gottlieb, that's a lot of teeth! You must have some really expensive dental bills to keep that smile so nice. Well, that concludes our lesson on finding the value of numeric expressions. So, bye for now, math students.